Hello everyone, my name is Melissa Sombrick and I can be reached at msombrick97@gmail.com. Today I am going to propose a 10 megawatt solar farm in Kingston, Jamaica. So let's get started. The Caribbean region is in strong need for a renewable energy. So why Jamaica? Most of Jamaica's energy comes from oil-burning power plants. This is very bad for the environment, but also poses another problem. Jamaica does not produce any oil itself. This makes it highly dependent on foreign oil, which can be expensive and unreliable. Which brings me to our next point. In recent years, Jamaica has implemented a very strong renewable energy program. Their current goal is to generate 50% of their energy using renewable sources by 2030. This ambitious goal makes them an attractive region for a renewable energy project like this solar farm. So, why Kingston? Well, Kingston has higher levels of solar irradiation than most other areas of the country, giving it the ability to produce high amounts of solar electricity. In addition, demand for electricity is very high in Kingston. As the capital of Jamaica, Kingston has the highest population of any city in Jamaica, which means high demand for electricity. In fact, there are over 150 megawatts of installed oil-burning electricity generation capacity in Kingston alone. This shows a clear need for renewable energy in the area. Here you can see a map of solar irradiation in Jamaica. Now, as you can see, Kingston is in a dark orange region and is surpassed only by a few regions in the southernmost parts of the country. These regions, however, have no major cities and so cannot compete with the demand for electricity seen in Kingston. What will it take to construct this solar farm? This project will use 20 acres of land, and ideally, this land will be secured as equity from the local community. What this means is that instead of buying or leasing land, members of the community would give permission to install solar panels on their land, and in turn, they would be given a percentage of the profit. At a cost of $1.42 per watt of installed capacity, a standard price for solar farms like this 10.3 megawatt facility will cost $14,626,000 to construct. This will be paid for with a 20-year loan at 4% APR, which gives an annual mortgage payment of $1,076,206.68. The operating cost of a solar farm is typically about 1% of the capital expenses. In this case, that means that operating costs will be $146,260 per year, including the mortgage annual cost, which will be $1,222,466.68. To determine how much electricity this facility would produce, several assumptions must be made first. The solar panels have a capacity of 150 watts per meter squared. This is the industry standard. Second, the 85% of the land can be used for solar panels, with the other 15% going to service roads and any other facilities. This leaves 68,799 meters squared available for use. Lastly, that 23% of the generated energy is lost in the conversion from DC to AC, leaving 77% for actual use. With these assumptions in mind, this 10.3 megawatt system can generate 17.2 gigawatt hours of energy per year. Dividing annual cost by annual energy generation, we find that this solar farm can produce electricity at a cost of 7.1 cents per kilowatt hour. To earn 10% profit, electricity would be sold for 7.8 cents per kilowatt hour, and to earn 20% profit, electricity would be sold for 8.5 cents per kilowatt hour. As with any major project, there are some potential difficulties that may be faced. The biggest for this project is funding. Private investors, green bonds, and the Jamaican government are all potential sources of funding for this project. Another potential issue is competition. Jamaica currently produces very little renewable energy, but aims to expand to producing 50% of its electricity from renewable sources by 2030. This means that there are a lot of other renewable energy projects both currently underway and that will be proposed in the future. However, the estimated price of electricity from this project are very close to other projects that have secured funding and contracts in Jamaica, which makes it likely that this project could be successful. Another problem is electricity theft, which is prevalent in Jamaica. High electricity prices lead some people to illegally tap into the grid and use electricity without paying for it. This represents a very large portion of the losses for utility companies. There isn't really anything that can be done about this, except trying to structure power purchase agreements in a way that ownership of the electricity turns over to the purchaser before theft becomes a problem. Lastly, another difficulty is vandalism. People damaging or stealing solar panels from this solar farm. So to prevent this, security measures such as fences and cameras can be put in place. Strong mounting structures can be used to help prevent theft. Further difficulties include consistency of electricity output and local weather. In cloudy weather, solar panels lose efficiency. In storms or at night, they don't work at all. The best way to combat this problem is to store excess generated energy in some way so that it may be used when too little is being generated. This can be done with certain types of batteries, or better yet, by generation of hydrogen gas through the electrolysis of water. Next point, durability is another concern. Being in a tropical area, Jamaica tends to experience strong storms and hurricanes, which have the potential to damage solar panels. The entire solar farm must be built to withstand these events. That said, another solar farm in Jamaica has been operating for several years, and thanks to careful design, has managed to withstand strong storms like this. Selection of parts is another difficulty, both for reasons of durability and the environmental effects. Many solar panels, particularly more recent designs, use rare earth elements in their construction or other materials that may be harmful to the environment. Ideally, solar panels can be selected that use no rare earth elements to avoid depleting these precious resources and that are otherwise constructed in an eco-friendly way. In addition to the panels themselves, there could be other factors that negatively impact the environment. For example, clearing 20 acres of unused land could be very detrimental. Therefore, Land will be used that has already been developed, if at all possible. Since this project aims to acquire land as equity, it is likely that the land will already be developed, which mitigates this. And our last point, transmission of generated electricity represents a potential problem for this project. Although Kingston has existing electrical infrastructure, rural areas of Jamaica have struggled with electrification. That said, long distance transmission is undesirable for economic reasons anyways, and Kingston has far more demand than what this facility will supply. So transmission to rural areas is unlikely to be an issue. To determine the viability of this project, it must be compared to existing energy generation in the area. Historically, electricity prices in Jamaica have been very high, at times exceeding 40 cents per kilowatt hour for retail purchase. According to an interview with the Jamaican Public Service Company, generation of electricity with existing oil-burning generators is about 15 cents per kilowatt hour. For residents that generate their own renewable energy and sell some back to the grid, standard offer contracts with JPS pay them the avoided cost of generation, which is about 11.8 cents. Another solar farm that was recently constructed signed a power purchase agreement with JPS to sell their electricity for 8.5 cents per kilowatt hour. For this project, that price represents a profit of 20%, which indicates that this project will be able to sell its electricity at a profit. All right, environmental impacts. For a renewable energy project, environmental impacts are important. This solar farm will emit 816.8 metric tons of CO2 equivalents per year, generating the same amount of power with Jamaica's current electricity mix, which is mostly oil burning and would emit 11,768.9 more metric tons of CO2 equivalents per year than this solar farm will emit. That is more than 14 times the emissions of this solar farm, indicating a huge benefit that our solar farm is going to have for the environment. And now the summary. So, to summarize, this proposal is for a 10.3 megawatt solar farm. It will be located in Kingston, Jamaica, primarily due to a high solar radiation and high demand for electricity in the area. It will generate 17.2 gigawatt hours of electricity per year, and land for the project will be secured as equity for the community. The project will cost $14,626,000 with operating cost of $146,260 per year. The annual payment will be $1,222,466.68. So this amounts to a generation cost of 7.1 cents per kilowatt hour of electricity. At a rate of 20% profit, electricity could be sold for 8.5 cents per kilowatt hour, which is attainable based on contracts between JPS and other solar farms. Lastly, this project would save the Earth from 11,758.9 metric tons of CO2 equivalents per year. And here is my reference page. Thank you very much for your time and have a good day.